Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Jae Grind. We welcome to the Jae Grind podcast. Listen, y'all, we got a special guest. This dude, this guy, he's coming in crazy. He's different. He's an actor. He's a stunt guy. You definitely want to, he's a director. So, guys, check out my man Ryan Halasz. I hope I said it right. So yeah, check out Ryan. What's
Yes,
going
you
on,
did.
Ryan? How you feeling, man?
How you doing? Hey, thank you so much for having me on this podcast. It's an honor, man, to work with you and be part of the grind with you. And yeah, man, let's dig in.
All right, bet. So Ryan, tell the fans, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name's Ryan. I went to film school. Uh, Started as a out of college. I was like a editor, cameraman, picking up all kinds of little odd jobs here, in the content creation world. Um, and I loved what I did. I still love what I do. I still do what I do, but everything I've done um, is a result of something that I truly wanted to do. And what is that? It's being able to uh, communicate that in front of the camera. I, yes, want to be an actor. That has always been the ultimate goal. And for a long time, I didn't even know that's what I wanted to do. And I would say the past 5 years, I finally had the courage to take it seriously. Um, in film school, I did a lot of in front of the camera roles. And don't get me wrong, doing things behind the camera definitely helped me become more, aware of what it takes to be in front of the camera. So I think both aspects definitely complement one another. Um, but now that's what the dream is, chasing that dream, as a working actor and director as well. I still love to direct and I still love to write. It's a, being in this industry, working in this industry, learning the more you do it, the more you realize how much of a Swiss Army knife you have to be in order to stay afloat. Um, and that's the only way I'll have it. That's the only way I'll ever have it. Um, yeah, and
So
on
tell
top of
me,
that, hmm
so tell me about your why. What got you into acting? What influenced you to act? How did you go to act? Like, what? Tell me about your acting school experience, and your why, and how you got into it.
yeah, I never really went to a school. I go to an acting class.
Okay.
It's one of the it's a workshop. It's with one of the Sopranos. Um, I went to college for filmmaking, but then that translated into acting. But really, honestly, if you want me to really dig deep into how it all started, um, my a father figure at the time, his name was Lamont. God rest his soul. Miss you. Um, I was a kid, and he handed me a box of VHS tapes, and guess what was inside this box of Guess what movies were in there?
I'm thinking, The Crow. Bruce Lee, Jean Claude Van Damme.
Boom. Yes.
Okay.
The Crow. Yeah. It was mostly Bruce Lee. He was a big Bruce Lee fan, and a lot of these VHSs were worn out already. Like how you watch it so many times and it gets all. But
Get
that
tangled
didn't,
up and stuff. Yeah.
I didn't care. Yeah, it gets all like pixelated, whatever. Um, yeah, I would watch this Bruce Lee's movies, every single one. Enter the Dragon, Return of the Dragon, Big Boss. Um, and he had a lot of other kung fu movies too, but like those movies in particular, Bruce Lee. Um, he was at that time he was my hero. These crazy fight scenes, and it was the acting. I mean, there's so many aspects. It just wasn't the fight scenes with Bruce Lee. He was an actor. He was a great actor too. And the writing as well in these movies. It was so wonderful. And a lot of them today, you still see a lot of American film directors pulling inspiration from Bruce Lee movies. You know, even I myself as a director, I'm directing a movie in it right now, and you are in it, by the way, as a boss, and you'll see that when it comes out. Um, I pulled inspiration from Bruce Lee movies. One of my fight scenes, there's a part in it. It's an homage to Bruce Lee, and it's a tribute to Bruce Lee. This movie, so he kind of started that trend with me, and you know, as you get older, you know, life happens, and but the question was always, you know, as I got older, and I realized, you know, what was I made for? You know, what am I willing to do for free for the rest of my life and not get, don't even care, but I'm willing to do it, you know, willing to be poor doing it, chasing the dream. And that's, and then, and really, it's being in front of the camera, you know, making, uh, something authentic, practicing my craft. There's nothing more fulfilling than that.
Mm. So you said something about life. Explain those things about life, you know, as an actor, as a director. Tell the fans, tell the audience, like, what are the things that happen that they don't see with actors and actresses and directors, you know, in those moments, you know, where you said about, you know, life happens. Talk about those life happen moments.
You know, it's a question of forgiveness, right? Um, for actually 5 years until 2 days ago, I used to beat myself up a lot. I had a problem with turning my back on what I feel I was meant to do in this world. You know, acting or being an actor, being a great director, being a great actor, filmmaker. I turned my back on it. I did. The acting part, the filmmaking part, I didn't, but the acting part, being in front of the camera, I did. I said to myself, I'll never do this ever again. I will never be an actor again, ever. Um, I wish I can go back in time and say to my 24-year-old self, no, 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 don't stop chasing this dream. You gotta have the courage. Have the courage to continue. I know it hurts right now, but don't stop. I would do anything just to tell my younger self that. Um, and for a long, and you know, you look at my IMDb, you can see there's a gap in between. You know, there's like all other projects, but within the acting part, there's a gap. It's from I don't know 2012 to 2018. There's like a big gap, like about a 9 year gap. You know, um, and towards the end of those 9 years, I you know had the courage towards the end. I had the courage to say no. Let's pursue it. Let's pursue this because there's something there, and I need to do it. I need to do it. I can't live with regret. And for 5 years after pursuing acting, I couldn't forgive myself for taking those 9 years off. I couldn't. I couldn't. Um, the other day, a dear friend of mine invites me to this kind of like it's a psychic meeting, you know, clairvoyant people. They're mediums. You know, they talk to the dead, all that. I don't really believe in that stuff. But what I do believe in is good vibes and good energy and love and being in the light. That's what I truly believe because that's what God is. You know, God is love, pure love. And so at this event, I was only there to like kind of help with the camera a little bit, make sure the lighting is good, you know, like help out whatever. It was actually one of the guys who was in our fight scene. His the owner of the gym that we worked at. One of the owners was they were part of they were running the event actually, and I asked them, how do I tell my younger self, uh, don't do it, chase your dream, follow what you're made for, and how do I forgive myself for not uh, for taking all that time off? Because thoughts are things, right? If you think something, it appears. That's what I truly believe. I truly believe that. Putting good vibes into the universe, it's always going to come back to you. Helping people, uh, doing something for somebody and not expecting anything in return, like things like that. Like just good vibe, always just pure love. Um, that's what we strive for. And I asked that question, about forgiveness, about um, going back to myself and saying, "Oh yeah, don't stop, chase what you dream of." Um, and the answer I got just completely blew my mind. I was like in shock. Maybe these people. I don't know if these people talk to the dead. I know, but I do know that they're wise. That's for sure. And they say there's 5 people on the panel. This is in front of like 300-400 people, like a huge audience. And their answer was you weren't ready.
Mm.
I'm like, what do you know? And I'm thinking like, what do you mean I'm not ready? He goes, you weren't ready because there's somebody or something guiding you, and they knew that addiction would be prevalent in your life, right?
Really?
And I'm addiction, right? Crazy thing. And these are people like they say they talk to the dead, whatever. I really don't. Whatever. Um, I'm thinking like, what are they saying? Like maybe I would become like a drug addict, or I'd become exposed to things in that industry. And that stuff is in every industry. It's not just the film world. But they said addiction. They kept on harping on addiction, and I could be exposed to that, and that's why I wasn't ready. And now you're ready because now you have the strength to to stop the nip it right in the butt if any type of addiction were to come your way because you're more wise, and that's why the energy wanted you to, or the spirit guide or whatever. Um, and it made sense to me, because, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that. I don't. Uh, there's a lot of addiction in my family past. And when I put those two and two together, I'm like, oh my God, that's right. I could have been easily addicted to something, some substance. And in that world, maybe it was better to stay behind the camera right after that because it kind of grounded me. It kind of, um, there's beauty in everything. Whatever way you look at it, there's always beauty. And it's not a matter of harping on the what ifs, it's a matter of harping on the beauty. And that's the connection I made with these like clairvoyant people, and, and giving the history that some of my past may, not me, but my grandfather, all that back there. Don't get me wrong. God bless their soul. They're great people, and I'm so I'm honored to have them. But everybody, it's not all grass is green on the other side for everybody. Everybody, there's always like some struggle, and I made that, they made that connection, and um, that gave me clarity on how to stop putting the bad vibes of forgive. How could I, beating myself up over that 9 year gap, and yeah, this just happened the other day. Actually, it was and I think a lot of it has to do with too. Like I know we're making a film, um, and we're putting a lot of energy, blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it's making you realize like beautiful things about yourself that you never knew. It's a mixture of that and this, and um, I do feel a lot more at peace than I was from that experience.
Oh, how such? How so? How were you feeling at peace? Um, what brought you to that point?
Being able to say, it's okay. It's okay you had that gap of you just not wanting to be in front of the camera. It's okay. We're all human. We're all on this journey to, there's a reason why we're all here on this planet. Otherwise people would just kill themselves, right? If you think about it, there's a reason why we go to the doctor and we check up on ourselves, and we work out all the time and do all these things. There's a reason, because we want to achieve greatness, or we want to achieve a best version of ourselves. And that's real. I realized where that's where the focus needs to be. you know it's a journey, and during those times I turned my back on it because I wasn't ready, and I never made that connection until now.
So let me ask you something. So what's your vision now? How are you chasing greatness now?
I think authenticity, right? I think that's the most important aspect of how to achieve greatness. Is it authentic to you, the story you want to tell? And you can tell that story through anything. At the end of the day, we're all human. Everything, I believe, everything we do, it's all the same thing. This guy does this thing, this guy does that. He makes a roof, he lays floors, this guy's a painter. It's all the human experience. At the end of the day, if you're trying to inspire others, if you're aiming to inspire others while being authentic, I think that's where it is. Luck is such a stupid thing. Like luck is great, but it's the journey, it's the experience, it's the process. That's where the beauty is. That long day of just blood, sweat, and tears, and at the end you sit in that chair and you just reflect, like, wow, I did that. Wow, I did that.
So let me ask you something. Something that stood out to me. So this word luck, do you believe in luck? What does it mean?
I don't necessarily believe in luck. I think luck is something that happens to people that uh, have traction. Life is movement, right? If you put yourself out there, there's more of a chance of you having luck. If you take risk, like great risk, for the good, for the good. If you take a risk on something that's good for your soul, then I think that's the type of luck that I want. Not that, like, the type of luck for lottery or something like that. The luck that feeds your soul, the luck that gives you fulfillment in life. And what is fulfillment? You know, what is it? Being able to inspire, being able to change someone's life. Being able, someone coming up to you and saying, "Wow, I love your work," and you saying, "But I love your work too, and you can do what I do just as easily, probably better." I think that's true love and true having, you know, empathy. And that's where I want to be, you know? It doesn't matter how good someone's skill level is from here to here. If the human experience, the most joy I've ever had is inspiring somebody and being able to pass that teaching, you know?
So let me ask you something. As an actor, as a director, what have you what how have you marked yourself in this world? What have you accomplished so far?
So I out of film school, I started to shoot, I started to direct music videos, a lot of free jobs, a lot of free music videos, some paid too. Um,
Mm.
I was an editor on this Andrea Bocelli live in Central Park in 2011, assistant editor and a camera operator. Um, so I started taking like documentaries, music videos, a couple short films I would do. Um, and that translated into wanting to be a cameraman, because I wanted to, I was mostly doing editing, post work, and I wanted to be on set. I was just bored just sitting there editing. It was fun to edit. I did a lot of editing, but I just wanted to be on set. So I've been a cameraman, and then, I'm still directing, I'm still producing, I'm still um, mostly commercial work. So, uh, if you look at my website, my company's website, Destin Entertainment, you can see a lot of commercial work there. Real estate, beauty, uh, that's where it kind of went into. And then I worked for Vayner Media it was an ad agency for a little while, and then Vayner bought this company called Pure Wow, and I was in there. It was an in-house. My role was called shooter editor, but I did a lot of DP work too there as well. No directing, just camera and continue. But I always had that flame burning. I want to be an actor. Like I want to take an acting class. I would talk about it all the time. I want to take an acting class. I want to do a Stellar Adler was one of them I was looking at. Lee Strasberg School. That was another one. Um, and then that job I left. I left that job, and that's what I say. Like, let's do it. Let's find an acting class. And I found this acting coach with one of the Sopranos, and that was just like it for me. Like, no, this is it. Because as an actor, you're learning how to direct. Being an actor, you dissect the character. If you know how to act, you can direct because you know how to speak to actors, and it really helped my work. It really did, and it also helped me learn how to communicate with clients better. I had a communicating with clients and people and doing business deals. That's tough work, but then when you know how to empathize more, feel more, communicate better, it's so easy. Um, but then I said one day, no, let's just become an actor fully. And no, I still shoot and I do all that, but I'm going off on a tangent now.
Nah, nah, man, you good. So let me ask you something else. You doing the acting class, you being on set, working behind the camera, now working on camera. What are some of the films that you've been in, and what is something that you're currently working on right now that you want everybody to know?
Yeah, so when I started booking stuff, I'm on a lot of ID network shows, Masterminds of Murder, or just one line here, non-union. Um, I started doing a lot of background work. Background's great if you want to start getting into it. Plus, it'll enable you to be SAG eligible. So it's a good thing. But once you become SAG eligible, um, I don't. I think background it might be fun to do. You meet people on set, you network. You're there all day waiting. Um, but I don't think it's as be to for an actor. You're probably better off doing indie films, short films with speaking lines that aren't paid, kind of just, pay your travel, meals, whatnot. Um, and then I realized like, I know I need more substantial roles. So I wrote it during in film school. I actually started writing this movie called The Muscle, which you're in, and I started workshopping it in all types of workshops and like ironing out the script. And by the way, within that gap, I worked on this screenplay, that 9 year gap. Um, so that's another thing that great came out of that. Uh, and now I am putting my foot down and having the courage to say, let's shoot this movie. Let's do it. So I just started shooting B-roll. That's how I work as a director. I just shoot B-roll, of different things for a film, like kind of a mood reel I like to put together. And I put together a mood reel, and then we started saying, okay, what's the most high lift thing in this film we need to do before we actually shoot the story, the fight scenes. So that's where you came in. I reached out to you. We worked on the imitation movie. That's where we met. And I said, "Look, I got this movie. I'd love for you to be in it. I think you're awesome." And you came on board, and we went on set and went in rehearsal, and it was just magic. These fight scenes that were all these subtle nuances coming out of these fight scenes. It was just total gold. Um, and we did one fight scene on a stairwell in Weehawken, and it's still in post right now, but we are getting closer. Like they say, art is never finished; it's abandoned, right? And then we did another fight scene in a strip club, believe it or not. Um, there's a lot of layers to it. It's slightly campy. It's I would say John Wick meets The Sopranos. There's a lot going on. Um, and there's comedy elements in it too. There's this like some comedy. There's seriousness. I mean, there's something that hits the spot for everybody. I feel like in the fight scenes. In the first fight scene at least. So we did the two high lift fight scenes are in the can now, and now we're gonna start shooting some of the stories. So I would say we're about 20% in on this film. I would say, and yeah, I look forward to the journey. Seeing how this evolves. Because whatever you read on paper when you get on set, like sometimes things change. It doesn't make sense with the script and whatnot. Uh, we ended up shooting a little bit more because we had extra time, different little scenes and stuff like that. And the process has been, I'm truly grateful. I'm truly grateful to have you to come on board. Um, you've made this project so much more than what it is, and I think it really is going to touch a lot of people. What we created together, I really do.
Thanks. Thank you, man. Thank you. Thanks for shouting me out on my own podcast. It means a lot. So I'm gonna ask you something. What are what are five traits of being a good actor and actress?
5 traits of becoming a good actor, actress. Um, First you got to want to do it, right? Anything in life, there's got to be some sort of want, you
Mm,
know. Um, but how do you do it, right? You must do what needs to be done. That's the second thing. Want, but you must do what needs to be done, right? How do you do what needs to be done? Who the hell knows? I'm still trying to figure that out. He's still trying to figure that out. You gotta want it, but you gotta do what needs to be done. What needs to be done? It's a question of fulfillment. Are you gonna stop when you're fulfilled? What is your definition of fulfillment? Is it doing one line here as a day player, or becoming a star? In any career, you have a bunch of people that do things here and there, and then you got your stars in that career. Same thing in acting. You gotta You got working actors that do all kinds of stuff, and then you got stars that are just a star. You got to eat shit, really. You really got to eat shit. And I don't curse, but I did just now. You got to be comfortable with rejection, and you got to be comfortable with being in the trenches and then all of a sudden getting no's. And let me tell you why. Because the process is what's going to make you and shape you into doing a great performance. Because if you're comfortable with rejection, it turns out that's part of the process. And it was never a rejection. And it never was eating shit. It was the process. And that is the process. Because once you're humble and once you let go and once you figure out this language of acting, just get just a little glimpse of it, then you're able to calm your brain. Because that's what it's all about, calming your mind, calming your brain. Because it's always in there, it's always in there, but how do you access it? And it's all about just taking a step back, taking yourself out. So, understanding the process, right? So you got the want, right? Do what needs to be done. Understanding the process, because it isn't rejection. If they don't choose you, it's not rejection. It's the process. Because here's another little beautiful thing about that if you don't get chosen. I've auditioned for things, and I've known people who've auditioned for things that didn't get the role. But then months later, the director calls them and says, "Hey, look, you didn't get that role, I know, but I got another role for you, and I thought you'd do great for this." Or that same production, "Hey, look, you didn't get the role for that, but I would like to bring you on as camera guy, stunt coordinator, fight choreographer." And then you realize, like, oh my God, how did I even say, I'm eating shit. I'm in the trenches. I'm getting rejected. I'm not getting rejected. No, no. Maybe this person had something just a little bit more accurate to the character than I did, but there's something else for me here. And once you realize that, you realize, like, oh yeah, this is the process. This is normal. Everybody's going through this. This is cool. Then there is no rejection. It's just love. It's just um, you know, and people may struggle to. That's why I said those words like in the beginning. People may struggle to understand it. But that's why in every great film there's a character arc. You know, it's interesting to see a character arc because we change. It's important as a person to change. You know, and that would be my fifth thing. Change. Being comfortable with change. You got to be comfortable with change. And those will be my pillars, I guess, to, you know, um, loving the process, never giving up, never giving up.
I'm gonna ask you something. You said I'm never gonna lie, y'all. Ryan has said a lot of nuggets that some people had to go to class for and just experience in itself. Guys, if you want to work with him or have him work on your project, Ryan, where can they find you? How can they reach out to you?
So if you are interested in being part of this project, I would love to hear from you. Or if you're interested in just, having a conversation, I would love to hear from you too. You can hit me up on my Instagram. It's at Ryan Halasz. You can just DM me, and it may take a while for me to get back to you, but I promise you I will. I will. You can comment in any photo, give me a follow. Instagram would be the best way. And just say, hey, look, I want to be in your film. And if I can find a place for you, in front of the camera, I would love to have you. And if I can't find a place for you in front of the camera, I'd still love to have you behind the camera. I would. You know, I spend so many years of my life behind the camera learning. It's zen. You know, it's learning. Everything's a learning experience. But if you do it, if you put yourself in that environment, see, that's the most important thing. You got to put yourself in the environment and continue to do that. Why? Inspiration. There's two types of people, you know, you got thinkers and you got doers, right? I was a thinker for a long time, but I wanted to be a doer. I did want to be a doer. I did. I still want to be a doer. You got to put yourself in the environment to get inspiration to be a doer. You can't just be a doer. You can't just do what needs to be done. You can't. You need to put yourself in the environment to get the inspiration to do what needs to be done for you. And that's it.
Mm. Well, last question, because you dropped a lot of nuggets, man. I'm saying they gotta meet you to get the rest. So since you on a J Grind podcast, man, have you heard of J Grind's music?
I have, and I think that I would love to use a little bit in the movie. To be honest with you, it's wonderful.
What's your favorite
Definitely
song?
want to give. Um, you had a couple that you sent me. And what was the last three that you sent me? I think they were still like being produced, right?
No, I think they were finished at the time.
Okay, let me take a look. I have them right here. I have a couple links. We're on Spotify right now.
Okay.
You Were Mine. Oh, hold on.
Someone pass me a light. Please, I need to get high in this bit.
Oh, Agony. You like the album, the Agony
Yeah.
album?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What
Yep.
song?
That's a banger. That's a
Oh,
banger.
the whole thing or just a few songs? Like,
I like this song. I will actually want to do a music video. I remember we were talking about doing a music video. There's no name that this
Dark
song. What
Side
is the
Part
name of
Two.
this song?
Dark Side Part Two.
Yeah, I didn't know the name. What was the name of that one?
It's Dark Side Part Two.
Yeah, Dark Side Part 2. That's where it's at, I feel like.
What made why that song? What stood out to you when you heard that song?
Dark Side Part 2, I would say is out of all your work, that's the most authentic. And it's not even the lyrics that do it. It's the way you say it. You know, you can hear like these. I can hear your pain, and I can hear your vulnerability. I think that's really where that's where you really tell a good story. You know, through self discovery and how you're gonna deal with things. Um, and there's a vibe on that. I love the beat on that. Did you create that beat too?
Nah, nah, we're
Yeah,
not gonna
you had
talk too
someone.
much about the beat, but I bought the beat basically. Yeah, but yeah, it fit real well with it
Yeah,
when I heard
no.
it. Yeah, yeah. So that I
Yeah,
think,
that's a sick song.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I know we were talking about making a music video, so um, if that's the one you want to do, I'm on board.
Okay, okay, okay. All right, y'all. So you already know. Ryan, let everybody know who you are again. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me at just find me on Instagram, just Ryan Halasz, at RyanHalaszZ. And yeah, DM me. Shoot me, hit me up.
All right, y'all already know. This is the J Grind podcast. You already know. Peace.